The rain-slicked streets of Brooklyn gleamed under the sodium lamps like veins of forgotten promises, and that's when I saw him, my father, standing at the edge of the pier, his silhouette dissolving into the Hudson's black churn as if the river itself had come to claim him. He didn't turn back, didn't call out my name as the 12-year-old me sprinted through the downpour, sneakers slapping puddles that mirrored the chaos in my chest. One moment he was there, arguing into his phone about some big break in the city. The next he was gone, swallowed by the night like a sketch erased too hastily. In the years that followed, Mom buried herself in blueprints and late-night client calls, her drafting table becoming the altar where she sacrificed our family photos, while I learned to hide the pencils that burned in my pockets, afraid that drawing the truth of who I was, of the boys who made my pulse stutter, would make me vanish too. That was 8 years ago, but on the morning of the National Fashion Forward Challenge's preliminary submissions, the ghost of that pier clawed its way back into my life. I was 20 now, hunched over my thrift store desk in our cramped brownstone apartment, the kind of place where the walls whispered secrets if you pressed your ear close enough. Mom had left before dawn for her architecture firm uptown, her coffee mug still steaming on the counter like a placeholder for the conversations we never had. "Focus on school, Alex," she'd say whenever I'd linger too long near her sketches. Her voice clipped, eyes fixed on city screens that built empires while ours crumbled. School, community college graphic design classes I took online half-hearted, because real art felt like tempting fate. But fate, that cruel Brooklyn tease, had other plans. The challenge flyer had come in the mail 2 weeks earlier, slipped into a stack of Mom's junk mail. Unleash your vision. Design the future of urban streetwear. Sponsored by some high-end Manhattan collective, it promised exposure, cash prizes, and a shot at interning with labels that could launch a nobody like me into the stratosphere. The theme? Hidden threads. Pieces that wove personal stories into fabric, bold lines that confronted the invisible scars we all carried. I should have tossed it. Dad had been a tailor once, back when we lived in that shoebox in Queens, stitching custom suits for Wall Street wolves until his dreams of his own line fizzled under the weight of bills and Mom's growing silences. He'd taught me to thread a needle before I could tie my shoes, his calloused fingers guiding mine over patterns that danced like secrets on muslin. "Draw what you feel, kid," he'd murmur. But after he left, feeling anything felt like betrayal. Yet there I was, scissors snipping through midnight black denim, my hands moving like they remembered him. The design poured out. A bomber jacket with asymmetrical lapels that hid a network of embroidered maps, faded outlines of Brooklyn piers, Hudson currents twisting into subtle rainbow arcs that caught the light just so, symbolizing the currents that pull us under or set us free. Paired with slim cargos pocketed like hidden confessions, the whole look screamed resilience, a gay kid's quiet rebellion against the fog of loss. I hadn't labeled it queer. Hell, I hadn't even told Mom I was gay. Not after the way she'd flinched when Uncle Ray joked about those parades last Pride. But in the fabric, it was there, the soft lining of silk against skin, a whisper of vulnerability. I sealed the portfolio photos in an envelope that night, heart hammering like bass from the bodega below. Submission deadline was noon, and by 10, I was on the F train to Midtown, the city's pulse syncing with mine through graffiti-scarred windows. The Challenge HQ was in a converted warehouse off Times Square, all exposed brick and hipster interns in ironic tees. I handed over the packet to a receptionist with a nose ring and a smile that said she'd seen 1,000 dreamers like me. "Good luck, Alex Rivera," she said, glancing at the return address. "We need more stories like yours." Back home, the high faded fast. Mom stumbled in at 8, reeking of takeout, lo mein, and exhaustion, her blouse wrinkled like an afterthought. "What are you up to, Mijo?" she asked, not really listening as she kicked off her heels. I mumbled something about class projects, the lie sticking like starch. Dinner was silent TV. Some cop show rerun where the hero always found the missing piece. If only. The callback email hit my inbox 3 days later, while I was sketching in Washington Square Park, dodging tourists and the occasional street performer belting show tunes that twisted my gut with what-ifs. "Congratulations, Alex. Your Pierced Currents collection advances to semifinals. Mentorship pairing, Elias Hawthorne." Elias Hawthorne? The name landed like a gut punch. He was a legend 32, openly gay, the wunderkind who'd turned thrift scraps into red carpet gold. His runway shows blending high fashion with social grit. I devoured his interviews in Thread magazine, the way he talked about design as armor for the soul. And now he was my mentor. The semifinals meant workshops, critiques, and a final match. A live design duel where two finalists battled it out on stage. Audience voted for the grand prize. I wanted to call Mom to bridge the chasm with this win, but her phone went straight to voicemail mid-meeting at the firm. Instead, I texted my one confidant, Jamie, my barista crush from the coffee shop on Bedford, all freckles and flirty winks that made my sketches come alive. Big news. Drinks later. His reply, thumbs up and a heart emoji that felt like sunlight. The first workshop was a blur of egos and espresso. 20 semi-finalists crammed into a sun-drenched loft, fabric bolts spilling like colorful entrails. Elias arrived late, all lean grace in a tailored vest over ripped jeans. His dark hair tousled like he'd just rolled out of a muse's bed. Darlings, he drawled, that southern lilt cutting through the nerves. Fashion isn't about clothes, it's about confession. His eyes scanned the room, landing on me last, lingering just long enough to make my collar feel too tight. He pulled me aside after the group critique, where my jacket had drawn murmurs for its raw emotional layering. Alex Rivera, he said, flipping through my sketches, his fingers brushing mine accidental on purpose. This isn't just design. This is haunting. What's the story? Up close, he smelled like vetiver and possibility. His gaze pulling truths I wasn't ready to spill. Loss, I managed. Family stuff. He nodded like he saw the peer in my eyes. Good. Lean into it. But don't hide the fire. I see it in the lines. That night, over cheap IPAs at a dive in the East Village, I spilled more to Jamie than fabric swatches. He leaned in, his knee bumping mine under the scarred table, the contact electric. You're gonna kill it, Alex. And hey, if Hawthorne's as hot as you say, maybe design him something off the rack. We laughed, but his hand lingered on my arm, warm and tentative, the kind of touch that hinted at bridges over chasms. Weeks blurred into a rhythm of late nights and stolen glances. Mom noticed my absences, her questions sharpening like shears. You're out too much, Alex. Work's killing me. Don't make me worry. I'd nod, sketching in the dim kitchen light while she slept, the fridge humming dirges to Dad's empty chair. Elias's mentorship sessions were gold. We'd hole up in his atelier overlooking the High Line, pinning patterns and trading stories. He was from Atlanta, out since 16. His coming out a quiet revolution over sweet tea with his preacher dad. Betrayal's the sharpest seam, he said once, voice low as we adjusted a cuff on my prototype. But stitch it right, and it holds stronger. I told him about Dad then, the words tumbling like unraveled thread. The disappearance, the cops who called it a runaway debtor, Mom's walls rising higher than any building she drafted. Elias listened, his hand on my shoulder steady. He didn't vanish because of you, Alex. But your designs? They're calling him back. And maybe more. His thumb grazed my jaw, a spark that left me breathless, questioning if mentorship blurred into something magnetic. Jamie faded into the background, his texts unanswered as Elias's orbit pulled tighter. We grabbed post-workshop tacos in Hell's Kitchen, laughing over spilled salsa, his foot hooking mine under the table. One night, after a brutal critique where a rival, slick-haired Chad from Soho, sneered at my amateur emo vibes, Elias walked me to the subway, the city lights haloing his profile. You're not hiding anymore, he murmured, and before I could think, his lips brushed my temple, soft as silk. Proud of you, kid. Kid. The word stung, a reminder of the years between us, but his arm around my waist as we parted felt like home. The semifinals narrowed to 8, then 4. My collection evolved. The jacket now had hidden pockets lined with photosensitive fabric that revealed faint family portraits under UV light. Dad's grin, Mom's fierce focus, my own boyish scowl. It was therapy in thread counts, queer and unapologetic, the rainbow arcs now blooming into full-spectrum florals that nodded to pride without shouting. Elias beamed at the reveal, pulling me into a hug that lingered. "This is it, Alex. The match is yours." But cracks spiderwebbed. Mom found a stray swatch in the laundry, her face crumpling. "What's this?" "Alex, talk to me." We sat at the Formica table, the first real talk in years. I confessed the challenge, the designs, the way Dad's ghost fueled every stitch. Tears streaked her cheeks, mascara rivers. He was running from us, Mijo. From debts, from everything. I worked to keep us afloat, but I lost you too. Her hand clasped mine, tentative. "Show me." For the first time, she saw the pier in fabric, the love I'd hidden in lines. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "Like him. Like you." Emboldened, I leaned into Elias, our sessions turning intimate. Shared wine. His stories of lost loves weaving with mine. Jamie confronted me at the coffee shop, hurt flickering in his eyes. "It's him, isn't it? The mentor. Be careful, Alex. Guys like that, they collect hearts like fabric scraps." I brushed it off, but his words burrowed. The final match loomed. A live showdown at Fashion Week's undercard. Me versus Chad. 2 hours to adapt a surprise prompt, betrayals bind, into a cohesive look. The venue was electric. A pop-up on the Hudson's edge, ironic echo of that pier. Mom sat front row, her presence a talisman. Jamie in the back with a forced smile. As the clock started, Elias's eyes met mine from the wings, full of faith. But Chad's smirk hid venom. Midway, I caught him snapping photos of my workstation, his phone glinting. Panic surged. My finale piece, a vest with betrayal motifs in reversible leather. One side scarred, the other healed. Intermission hit, and I cornered him. "Delete them, Chad. That's theft." He laughed, oily. "Prove it, Rivera. Your sob story won't save you." Heart slamming, I alerted a judge, but evidence was thin. Elias pulled me aside, his calm fracturing. "Focus. You're better." The second half blurred. Needles flying, seams sealing under spotlights. Mom's nod from the crowd anchored me. Jamie's thumbs up, a quiet apology. As I stepped back, the vest gleamed, binds that broke into wings. Queer resilience etched in every fold. Judges deliberated, the crowd buzzing. Elias squeezed my hand off stage, his whisper hot. "No matter what, this is yours." Then Chad's name flashed. "No, wait, mine. Alex Rivera. Winner of the match." Elation crashed like waves. Mom rushing the stage, her hug fierce. But as confetti rained, Chad lunged, phone in hand, screaming, "He stole my ideas." Security swarmed, but the damage rippled. Murmurs, flashes, doubt. Backstage, Elias faced me, eyes stormy. "Alex, I knew about the photos. He showed me last week. Begged me to intervene quietly. I thought it was nothing, flirtation, not theft. But I protected him because he's my ex. I didn't want to drag you into it." Betrayal sliced deep, sharper than any blade. "You used me." I choked, the wind souring. "My story, for what? Old flames." He reached, but I recoiled, the pier's chill flooding back. I fled into the night, Hudson mocking me. Mom's calls unanswered. Jamie found me on a bench, no judgment, just his jacket over my shoulders. "Told you," he said softly, but then, "Doesn't make your win less real." Days blurred into numbness. The prize money a hollow echo in my bank app. Mom staged an intervention over empanadas, her voice steady. Elias called, apologized to both of us. Said your work changed him, made him face his patterns. She paused, eyes soft. "But you don't need him, Alex. Or me, fixed. You need you." I applied the winnings to a tiny studio in Bushwick, threads and dreams my own. Jamie became more. Coffee dates turning to park walks, his hand in mine under autumn leaves. No rush, just steady. Elias sent a package. My vest, mended with a note. "You unbound me. Thank you." One crisp morning, sketching by the pier, reclaimed. I felt Dad's echo, Not as loss, but launch. Mom joined, her own sketchpad out, our lines intertwining. Betrayal had bound, but design set free. In the fabric of it all, I found my match, not a win, but wholeness. The win's afterglow should have been champagne and spotlights, but betrayal's hangover hit harder than any runway strut. I woke in my childhood bed the morning after, sheets tangled like unfinished hems, the Hudson's distant roar filtering through the fire escape like a taunt. Mom had driven us home in silence, her Prius weaving through celebratory cabs honking their indifference, while I nursed the raw ache in my chest. Elias's confession replayed on loop. His ex, the photos, the quiet protection that felt like a knife twist. I'd poured my soul into those designs, the peer's ghosts woven into every seam, only to learn the man who'd championed me had his own hidden threads, tangled with Chad's bitterness. Coffee brewed harsh and black in the kitchen. Mom already at the table, her laptop open to client emails but her eyes on me. "You gonna talk, or stitch it up inside?" she asked, sliding a mug my way. Her hair was pulled back in a no-nonsense ponytail, the kind she'd worn when Dad first started vanishing into late shifts. But there was a new softness there, earned from last night's tears on stage. I sank into the chair, the wood creaking like old bones. "How'd you know about Elias? The ex thing?" She shrugged, stirring her own cup. "He left a message after you bolted. Sounded wrecked. Said Chad's been nursing a grudge since their split. Stole ideas back then, too. Elias thought mentoring you would redeem it. Stupid, but human. Human." The word stuck, bitter as the brew. Elias wasn't a villain in some glossy drama. He was just a guy who'd let love's residue cloud his judgment. Same as Dad chasing pipe dreams over family. I traced the mug's rim, steam curling like unanswered questions. "I trusted him, Mom. He saw me, the real me, gay, broken, talented. And he used it." She reached across, her architect's hand calloused from T-squares and late drafts, covering mine. "Or maybe he saw himself. We all hide, Alex. I hid in work after your father. After. Built towers for strangers while our home leaned." Her voice cracked, a rare fissure. "But seeing your collection? It's like he never left. The maps, the colors. They're us." We sat like that, the city waking outside. Vendors hawking bagels, kids shrieking on stoops, the American dream grinding on despite its frayed edges. For the first time, I showed her the full portfolio, spreading sketches across the table like a peace offering. She traced the rainbow arcs, her finger lingering on the UV reveal portraits. "This one's you at 5, she said, spotting Dad's grin in miniature. "With that terrible bowl cut." We laughed, watery, the sound foreign but fitting. By noon, the challenge organizers called damage control. "Alex, the judges stand by the win. Chad's claims are baseless. No proof beyond blurry snaps. Press is spinning it as rivalry fuels innovation." They offered the internship slot, a 6-month gig at a Tribeca atelier, plus the $50,000 purse. "Take the day," they said. "You're the story now." The story. Ironic, since I'd always been the footnote, Dad's kid, Mom's shadow. But as I laced up my sneakers for a walk, phone buzzing with congrats from old classmates, it felt like reclaiming the narrative. Washington Square Arch loomed like a triumphant gate as I wandered, autumn leaves crunching underfoot in shades of amber and rust, the park's eternal improv troupe juggling for tourists. I settled on a bench near the dog run, pulling out my sketchpad on impulse. The prompt echoed, "Betrayal's bind." But now it felt personal, a vest reborn. No more hiding. I'd ink the hurt directly, leather panels flipping from barbed wire illusions to blooming vines. Queer love as the ultimate unbinder. That's when Jamie texted, "Saw the drama online. You okay? Coffee on me, neutral ground." Neutral ground was our code for the park cafe, where he'd first slipped me a free scone with a wink that said he saw past my hoodies to the guy sketching hearts in foam. I replied yes, heart emoji this time, real. He was waiting at a wrought iron table, 2 lattes steaming, his red hair catching the dappled light like fire. "Hero of the hour," he quipped, but his eyes searched mine, concern softening the tease. Jamie was 21. A theater major slinging Joe to fund auditions, all lean limbs and infectious grin. The kind of guy who quoted Sondheim while steaming milk. We'd flirted for months. Brushed fingers over tips, late shift confessions about crushes on leading men. But Elias's gravity had eclipsed it. We talked for hours, the latte going cold as I unloaded. The win, the stab, the way Elias's touch had felt like salvation until it soured. Jamie listened, nodding, his knee pressing mine under the table. Not accidental, but inviting. Betrayal sucks, but its plot not ending. You're the lead, Alex. And damn, that vest? Saw pics. It's fire. He pulled up his phone, scrolling fan edits already circulating. My design on models striding digital runways. Hashtags like Hidden Threads Unbound trending. His thumb grazed my wrist as he set the phone down. You deserve someone who doesn't collect X-drama. Someone who shows up. The air thickened, park chatter fading to a hum. I leaned in, our foreheads touching, his breath minty from gum. Like you. The kiss was tentative. Then sure, soft lips, tasting of vanilla and validation. The world tilting like a perfect seam. We pulled back, grinning like idiots, hands linking across the table. Slow, he said, echoing my fears. But real. Back home, Boyd, I dove into revisions. The atelier internship started Monday, but first, a personal collection. Pieces for everyday heroes, jackets for single moms juggling drafts and dreams, cargos for baristas with stage fright. Mom helped, her precision turning my chaos into structure. Our evenings a duet of scissors and stories. Your father would have loved this, she said one night, pinning a collar. He always said you had the eye. Did he? The question hung, unanswered, but in her voice, I heard forgiveness. For him. For us. Elias emailed midweek. No grovel, just honesty. I messed up, Alex. Chad's poison lingers. I should have cut ties clean. Your win's yours, pure. If you ever want a collab, no strings. Proud. Always. Attached. A scan of his own early sketch. A queer flag woven into Atlanta skyline. Scarred by eraser marks. Vulnerability. Offered. I didn't reply, not yet. Instead, I forwarded it to Mom. Think he's redeemable? Her response. We all are. Stitch by stitch. The internship's first day dawned crisp. The Tribeca streets alive with suited strivers and artist hustlers. The atelier a sunlit haven of looms and laughter. My workstation overlooked the Hudson. Poetic, punishing. And as I unpacked bolts of silk to peony, Elias's shadow loomed. He was guest lecturing that week, our eyes meeting across the room like crossed needles. Alex, he said at break, voice low in the supply closet's dim. No pressure, just, hi. Up close, the lines around his eyes spoke volumes. Nights replaying the fallout, maybe. I nodded, throat tight. Hi, thanks for the scan. Means something. We talked shop then, barriers thinning. His Atlanta roots mirroring my Brooklyn grit, shared loves of Raf Simons and underground zines. No touches, no promises. Just two creators circling a fragile truce. You're blowing up, he said, genuine. Jamie treating you right? I smiled, surprised. Yeah, steady. As weeks unfolded, the atelier became canvas. My unbound line prototyping for spring. Mom guesting for a family-themed pop-up. Jamie modeling in off hours, his lanky frame turning heads. Chad faded, banned from events, his sneer reduced to Twitter rants no one retweeted. But ghosts lingered. One foggy evening, sketching alone, my phone rang. Unknown number. Alex? It's Ray. Uncle Ray. Dad's brother. The one who'd moved to Philly after the disappearance. Radio silent for years. Found something. Your old man's alive. In Cali, Taylor's shop in L.A. Won't come east, but he asks about you. The line went dead, my world unraveling anew. Alive? The pier's finality shattered, replaced by rage's roar. Why hide? Why let us grieve? I booked a red-eye that night, Mom's hug fierce at JFK. Go. Unbind it all. L.A.'s sprawl hit like a fever dream. Palm shadows on stucco, the Pacific's endless sigh mocking Brooklyn's grit. Uncle Ray met me at LAX, his face a weathered map of Dad's features. Eyes guilty. He bolted on debts, kid. Pride mostly. Thought he'd make it big, send for y'all. Fell hard instead, booze, bad gigs. Clean now, but ashamed. The shop was a hole-in-wall on Melrose. Bolts of wool gathering dust. Dad behind the counter. Older, grayer, but the same steady hands. He froze as I entered, shears mid-snip. Alex. We didn't hug. Words first. Accusations flying like loose threads. Abandonment, silence, the hole he'd left. He deflated, sinking onto a stool. I saw the news. Your win. Proud, Mijo. But I ain't worthy. Tears carved channels in his stubble. Ran 'cause I was scared of failing you, of everything, including who you are now. I showed him the vest, then the reversible betrayal. This is me, gay designer whole. Because of you and without. He traced the vines, nodding. Beautiful, like your ma said you'd be. We talked till dusk, stitching gaps. His Cali reinvention, Mom's updates via Ray, my queer heart laid bare. No easy forgiveness but a start. Phone numbers exchanged, promises of visits. Flying home, dawn gilding the clouds, I felt lighter, unbound. Elias texted, safe travels? Collab sketch incoming. Jamie, miss you. Stage door pickup. Mom, home's ready. Designs await. The match had won more than a prize. It wove a tapestry of returns, loves, truths. In America's vast weave, we all hide until we don't. Touching down at JFK felt like threading the needle after a long hiatus. The familiar turbulence of home, but with a steadied hand. LA's revelations hummed in my veins like fresh dye. Dad alive, flawed, reachable. Not the villain I'd embroidered him as, but a man unraveled by his own ambitions. Now piecing back with quiet stitches in a sun-bleached shop. We'd parted with a handshake, his palm rough as sandpaper against mine. But in his eyes, I'd seen the boy who'd taught me to draw rivers on napkins. Come back, he'd said, or I'll come to you. A vow fragile as tissue paper but real. Mom picked me up curbside, her SUV idling amid the chaos of honking taxis and harried travelers. A thermos of cafecito steaming on the dash. Well? She asked, no preamble, as we merged into the Van Wyck's snarl. I spilled it all. The shop's musty charm, Dad's halting confessions, the way he choked up over my vest photo on his ancient flip phone. She drove in silence at first, knuckles white on the wheel, then pulled over at a rest stop, tears silent. Alive, she whispered, like testing a forbidden word. All these years, I built walls thinking he was gone for good. We cried then, ugly and unscripted, the kind of release that leaves you hollowed out but clean. He wants to meet, I said finally, wiping my sleeve. Properly. With you. Her laugh was brittle. One bridge at a time, Alex. But yeah, for you. Back in Brooklyn, the atelier awaited like a lover's embrace. Looms humming, interns chattering over mood boards. The Hudson's gray expanse a canvas beyond the windows. My workstation had bloomed in my absence. Fabric swatches pinned with Jamie's doodles, theater masks winking from corners, a potted succulent from Mom labeled, Don't kill me, Mijo. Elias was there, mid-lecture to newbies on sustainable weaves, his voice a warm baritone that no longer twisted my gut. He caught my eye, nodding respect, no intrusion. Welcome back, designer, he said later, over vending machine snacks in the break room. The air was neutral, charged only with professional spark. Heard about Cali. Heavy. I shrugged, popping a pretzel. Heavy, but mending. He smiled, faint lines crinkling, genuine, not performative. Good. And the collab? If you're game, I've got ideas for a returns line, echoes of your pier motifs, my skyline scars. I considered it the old pull tempered by growth. Maybe, after holidays. Jamie's got me roped into his holiday show. Tech crew, lights and all. Elias chuckled. Smart kid. Deserves you steady. No jealousy, just closure. We parted with a fist bump, the gesture sealing our shift from mentors to equals. Threads retied without tangles. Jamie swept me up that evening, his beat-up Honda idling outside like a chariot to normalcy. "LA Glow looks good on you," he teased, handing over a bodega rose, stem wrapped in napkin. We headed to his off-Broadway haunt in the Village, a black box theater smelling of paint and possibility, where he was understudying a queer ingenue in a review of Sondheim odds and ends. Backstage buzzed. Actors warming voices, props mistresses cursing jammed zippers, the air electric with pre-curtain jitters. "Help with the gels?" he asked, pulling me into the light booth, a cramped area overlooking the stage. We fiddled with colored filters, crimson for longing, azure for release. His shoulder brushing mine in the dim. "Missed this," he murmured, pausing mid-clip. "You, us." The kiss that followed was deeper than the park's tentative press. His hands framing my face, theater dust on his fingertips. "Break a leg down there," I whispered, heart full as he dashed off. From the booth, I watched him shine. Voice soaring in being alive, raw vulnerability cracking the fourth wall, his eyes finding mine in the spots. Post-show, the cast dragged us to a greasy spoon on Bleecker. Pancakes stacked high, laughter chasing away my jet lag. Jamie's friends folded me in queer chorus of drag kings and set designers. Their stories a bomb. Lost jobs, found families, loves that stuck like glue. Nights blurred into a cozy rhythm. Mornings at the atelier, afternoons with Mom plotting her firm's holiday showcase. She'd pitched an Unbound Spaces exhibit, inspired by my line. Evenings tangled with Jamie on his futon, trading sketches for scripts, bodies close but unhurried, learning each other's seams. "You're my muse now," he joked one dawn, tracing my collarbone as rain pattered the window. "Better than Hawthorne's drama." But drama brewed elsewhere. Chad resurfaced online, a snarky blog post titled, "Stolen Stitches." The real fashion-forward scandal, dredging blurry workstation pics with captions twisting my win into nepotism. Elias's shadow, they claimed. It went viral in niche threads, trolls piling on with Boycott Rivera. The noise a dull roar in my mentions. I ignored it at first, focusing on prototypes. A scarf series for Dad, reversible with Cali palms flipping to Brooklyn bridges, a gift bridging coasts. But when a client pulled from the pop-up, Mom's face hardened. "Fight it, Alex, or it'll bind you again." Elias stepped up unasked, posting a thread. Old emails proving Chad's pre-match poaching attempts, his voice measured. "Art's messy, but theft's a line." Alex crossed none. "Support real creators." The backlash flipped, supporters flooding with orders, Unbound threads trending higher. Gratitude swelled, complicated. Over coffee, neutral ground again, I thanked him. Didn't have to. He waved it off. Had to. For the kid who unbound me first. We hugged then, brief, brotherly, the past folding away. Thanksgiving loomed, a loaded loom. Mom hosted, our table extended. Jamie's easy charm, Uncle Ray flying in with pie, and, surprise, Dad, tentative in a rented suit, LA tan clashing with November chill. The air crackled as he hugged Mom, awkward but earnest. "Elena," he said, voice gravel. "Missed your lines." She stiffened, then softened. "Missed yours too, Manny." Dinner was a tapestry of tenses. Dad's tailor tales, Mom's tower triumphs, my match monologue drawing laughs and nods. Jamie bridged gaps with toasts. To hidden skills finally shown. His hand under the table at anchor. When Dad pulled me aside later, smoke break on the stoop, he pressed a package into my palm. A vintage thimble, engraved with "Draw True." "Knew you were special even then. Sorry I hid." Tears pricked. We all did. But now we wear it. The holiday high carried into December. The atelier festooned in twinkling LEDs. My line debuting at a holiday market under the Brooklyn Bridge. Crowds thronged. Queer couples in my bombers. Moms snapping pics for grandkids. Even a celeb stylist whispering endorsements. Jamie manned the booth in a prototype tee, his grin brighter than the lights. But climax brewed in quiet. A letter from Dad, post-holiday, confessing deeper. His disappearance tied to a closeted fling gone south, shame amplifying the flight. Didn't know how to face you, son. Not as you are. It humanized him further. The betrayal not just abandonment, but internalized fear we'd both conquered. I wrote back, then called Elias for advice, not mentor but peer. Forgive the layers, he said. They're what make us strong. New Year's Eve, Jamie and I watched fireworks from the pier. Reclaimed, romantic. The booms echoing Dad's return, Elias's redemption, Mom's thaw. His arm around me, we kissed into the countdown, the city our confetti. Unbound at last. Yet stories twist. January brought a curve. The atelier announced expansion, LA branch, Elias Helming. Come visit? He asked, half joking. I smiled. Maybe. Got roots here. Roots. Mom's firm collab on a community center. Designs queer inclusive. Jamie's big audition callback. Dad's monthly calls, stitching slow. In the weave, betrayal faded to texture. The match a mere midpoint. Life's true win. The ongoing design. January's bite sharpened Brooklyn's edges. Frost etching the brownstones like intricate lace. But inside the atelier, warmth bloomed from sewing machines' hum and the glow of shared spotlights. My workstation had evolved into a command center. Bolts of iridescent taffeta for the spring returns, collab with Elias, mood boards plastered with Polaroids. Dad mid-stitch in his Melrose Nook, Mom blueprinting our future kitchen Reno, Jamie striking dramatic poses in half-finished vests. The betrayal sting from the match had dulled to a faint scar, visible only when I flexed too hard. A reminder that pain, like dye, sets deeper with time but doesn't bleed anymore. Elias's departure for Ella loomed like a gentle unspooling. His going-away toast at the atelier a low-key affair, craft beers and charcuterie on the rooftop, the skyline twinkling indifferent. To new threads. He raised his glass, eyes sweeping the crew before settling on me. And old ones rewoven. We clinked, the moment charged but chaste. His pat on my back paternal now, laced with the quiet pride of someone who'd witnessed a metamorphosis. Keep unbound, Alex. And send swatches. West Coast needs your grit. Jamie squeezed my hand from across the circle, his thumb circling my knuckle. A subtle claim, grounding. He'd aced that callback, landing the lead in a spring production of Rent revival downtown. His voice rehearsals spilling into our nights with show tunes and soy lattes. You're my mark, he'd tease, referencing the documentary filmmaker. As we crashed on my futon, bodies entwined in lazy spoons, conversations drifting from Act 2 twists to my latest seam experiments. No rush to labels, but the fit was seamless. His freckled shoulder my pillow, my sketches his bedside muse. Mom's thaw accelerated post-Thanksgiving, her firm greenlighting the community center project. A Bushwick hub for queer youth, with flexible spaces for art labs and counseling nooks. My fabrics cladding the walls in adaptive murals. Colors shifting with light, echoing hidden threads. We'd collaborate weekly, her Sadie precision tempering my freehand flair. Dinners evolving from silent TV trays to animated debates over wine. Your father's sending measurements, she mentioned one evening, casual as passing salt. For the center's lounge custom cushions. Says LA traffic's hell, but he's game for a visit. Dad's reintegration was tentative choreography. Weekly video calls where he'd demo stitching techniques, his shop cat batting at the webcam, Mom chiming in with wry asides that drew his sheepish grins. The confession letter had opened floodgates. His closeted youth a mirror to my own early hides, shame's bind universal. Wish I'd been braver for you, he'd say, voice tinny over the line. I'd counter, you're here now, that's the stitch. But conflict simmered beneath the harmony, bubbling up in unexpected seams. February's Atelier Showcase. A mid-season pop-up in Soho. Promised exposure. Buyers from Barney's circling like hawks. My returns pieces headlined. The vest evolved into a capsule. Each item a diptych of loss and reclaim. Jackets with reversible liners. Pants with detachable panels revealing personal codas. Elias Skyped in for the reveal. his virtual applause echoing from a sun-drenched LA office. Crowd response was electric. Influencers snapping for Insta, a queer mag editor requesting an interview, even Chad's shadow absent. No trolls in sight. But post-show, as champagne fizzed, a familiar face pierced the throng. Victor Lang, a venture capitalist in bespoke slacks, all silver temples and shark smile. Alex Rivera, he purred, card materializing like magic. Your lines got legs. Invested in Elias's early days. Care to chat scaling? Flattery hooked, but wariness tugged. Over oysters at a nearby bistro. Jamie at my side, playing wingman with witty deflections. I probed. Victor's pitch was velvet. Seed funding for my own label, distribution deals, atelier expansion. You're the next big queer voice, he schmoozed. Authentic, American grit. Jamie's foot nudged mine under the table, caution. Nights later, doubts frayed. Victor's contract arrived, dense as denim. Equity stakes, creative oversight clauses that read like leashes. They own your soul. Jamie warned over takeout pad thai, his brow furrowed. Mom echoed over coffee. Build slow, Mijo. Like we did. Even Dad, on a call. Tailoring's personal. Don't let suits tailor you. I declined, polite email citing timing. But Victor persisted lunches, voicemails laced with opportunities slipping, pressure mounted, mirroring Dad's old Wall Street chases. The betrayal not theft but temptation to sell out. Climax crested mid-March. Jamie's Rent, opening night a whirlwind of marquees and standing ovations. He slayed as Angel's love interest, his tango raw with queer fire, tears streaking my cheeks from the third row. Backstage roses in hand, we celebrated at a cast party in the meatpacking, thumping bass and body paint blurring boundaries. But Victor crashed it, uninvited, champagne flute in hand. Heard the buzz, your boy's a star. Like you. His arm slung Jamie's shoulder, too familiar, pitch resuming. Fund his production next? Bundle deal. Jamie stiffened, shrugging free. Appreciate, man. But we're good. Outside, alley air crisp. Jamie unloaded. That guy's a bind, Alex. Pushy. Like he owns the room. His eyes searched mine, vulnerable. Don't let him own us. The kiss that followed was fierce, claiming. Against brick, under sodium glow. A declaration amid the city's indifferent pulse. I ghosted Victor, forwarding his emails to a lawyer friend from college. Peace settled, but ripples lingered. A tabloid whisper of Rivera rejects riches. Spinning me as principled, orders spiking. The center broke ground, my murals unfurling on scaffolds. Kids from the neighborhood sketching alongside, their lines wild and free. Dad arrived in April, Amtrak weary but beaming. Mom's SUV fetching him from Penn Station like a prodigal. Their reunion was quiet, no fanfare, just a walk in Prospect Park, hands brushing tentative. I tagged along, Jamie in tow, the four of us picnicking under dogwoods, sandwiches from the bodega, stories swapping like recipes. Missed this, Dad said, eyeing Mom's profile. Building together. She smiled, faint. We are. Elias visited too, LA layover, crashing at my studio for a weekend of collabs. No drama, just sketches till dawn, his boyfriend tagging along. A laid-back surfer type who ribbed him mercilessly. See? Unbound suits you. I joked, pinning a cuff. He laughed. Learned from the best. As spring deepened, conflicts resolved in layers. Victor's pursuit faded to crickets, the center's walls rising resilient, Jamie's run extending to sold-out weeks. One humid evening, pier-side with Jamie, rings glinting on our fingers. Not vows, but promises etched in silver. I reflected. Betrayal's match had forged, not broken. Dad's shop sent swatches monthly. Mom's designs graced my next line. Elias's emails sparked cross-coast drops. Humanities weave. Frayed. Mended. Enduring. In America's bold palette, we designed our happy, messy mine. Yet endings hint at sequels. Summer whispered new prompts, but that's another bolt. Summer's haze draped Brooklyn in a golden scrim. humidity clinging like unfinished business. But for the first time, my days felt tailored to fit, seamless, breathable, alive with the colors I'd once hidden. The community center's grand opening anchored June, a ribbon cutting under cerulean skies, my murals alive on stucco walls. Swirling currents of blue and blush, hidden rainbows blooming for those who looked close. Mom stood beside me, her hard hat swapped for a sundress, Dad on her other side. His arm loose around her waist, tentative but there, a stitch holding after years of loose threads. "You did this, Alex," she murmured, as kids from the after-school program mobbed us, their tiny hands smudged with sidewalk chalk versions of my designs. Jamie was the star, though, emceeing in a custom linen shirt I'd sewn. His voice booming welcomes laced with theater flair, drawing laughs from the crowd of locals, donors, and queer allies waving flags. "Welcome to Unbound House," he announced, eyes locking on mine, "where stories get their spotlight and their seams." The applause thundered, but his wink was private, a promise of rooftop beers later, under stars we'd claim as our own. Post-ceremony, the real magic unfolded. Workshops buzzing, elders sharing migration tales over iced tea, teens pinning their first patterns on mannequins I donated. Dad cornered a group of boys, his tailor hands demoing buttonholes, voice gravelly with Atlanta echoes. "Clothes tell your truth. Wear it proud." One kid, all braces and bravado, asked about his scars, the faded ink on his forearms from a misspent youth. "Reminders," Dad said. "Turn 'em into armor." Mom pulled me aside then, her eyes misty but steady. "He's staying, Alex. A trial run, crash pad in Queens, job hunt at a garment district shop." Her hand squeezed mine. "Thanks to you. For pushing." No full reconciliation yet. Nights of takeout and tentative talks awaited. But the bind was loosening. Love's not reforming in slow, deliberate pulls. Elias's returns drop-launched cross-coast that month, my Brooklyn grit fusing with his Cali cool. Limited bombers shipped from LA, embroidered with hybrid motifs, Hudson palms, skyline piers. Sales soared, queer boutiques from Silver Lake to Williamsburg snapping inventory. Reviews hailing it as the antidote to fast fashion's forgetfulness. He FaceTimed from a beachside fitting, salt-tousled and grinning. "Sold out in hours. Your arcs? Genius." His boyfriend photobombed, waving a swatch. "When's the sequel visit?" "Soon," I promised, Jamie leaning in frame, chin on my shoulder. Family expansion first. Victor's ghost had exorcised fully. No calls, just a curt linked-in disconnect that felt like victory's aftercare. In its place bloomed independence. My solo line, Pierced Bloom, picked up by an indie retailer chain. Window displays in Soho mocking old pressures with vibrant defiance. Jamie's Rent, wrapped with a cast album recording, his vocals haunting my commutes. A soundtrack to sketches born on subway scraps. But humanism's heart beats in quiet folds, not just spotlights. One sweltering afternoon, post-market shift, I wandered the pier. Solstice sun dipping low, gilding the water in molten hues. A fisherman cast lines nearby, his tackle box a relic of Dad's old gear, and for a moment time looped. 12-year-old me, frantic in rain, now 20 whole. I pulled out my phone, dialing the number I'd memorized but rarely used. A hotline from the center's resources, for lingering loss. The counselor's voice was warm, Midwestern lilt. "Tell me about the disappeared." I did. Dad's return, Mom's workaholic walls, my hidden pencils, the matches maelstrom. "It's not linear," she said. "Healing's a patchwork, beautiful in its mismatches." Tears came, cathartic, the river absorbing my echoes. Jamie found me there, as dusk bruised the sky, his bike chained to a rail. Deep thoughts. He sat close, no questions, just presence. His head on my shoulder, fingers interlacing. We watched ferries slice the current, stories unspoken but shared. "Love this," he said finally. "Us, the mess that made it." Fall crept in with equinox winds, leaves turning like reversible linings, the atelier prepping winter ways. Dad landed steady work, weekends at our table evolving to game nights. Monopoly marathons where Mom's hotel empires clashed with his railroad bets, laughter-filling voids. Elias's sequel collab sketched remotely, ideas ping-ponging emails. A coat for cross-country loves, pockets deep for mementos. Betrayal's shadow? Faint now, a texture adding depth. Chad's blog deflated. His latest exposé ignored. Karma's quiet seam. In its wake, forgiveness rippled. A thank you note to Elias, crediting his spark. A care package to Dad, thimbles and threads. Thanksgiving Redux was fuller. Extended kin, Jamie's theater fam, toasts to threads unbroken. As snow dusted the stoop, Dad pulled me out for a walk, breath fogging. You unbound us, son. Gay, gifted, gone no more. His hug was fierce, paternal ports open. Mom joined, linking arms. Families a design evolves. New Year's dawned clear, Jamie and I on the high line. City sprawling below like a bolt unrolled. Fireworks bloomed, his kiss tasting of champagne and forever. To match as one, he murmured. And the rest? Ongoing. Lines drawn, love sown, losses honored. In America's grand, gritty weave, dramatic, suspenseful, achingly romantic. We hide no more. We shine. The end? Just a turn in the fabric.